Hey, you know that the mics come through when you do that. Hey, we're live. I hope this works. I don't know. Welcome to Jedioshi live stream. It's Wednesday, January 26th. Bravo's back in action with us today. Yep, here we go. We've got it on the phone. What's going on, man? Yeah, I can hear that feedback too. Sweet. Yeah, before we got in here, we're just messing with this fractal. But hello everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're watching Bitcoin's making a move, dude. Look at that. Look at that. Let's switch it over to we've got everything here. We've got the Dow Jones, Bitcoin futures. See, and then okay, watch this. See this? It's on red. Okay, so I have to switch over to, let's go to Bitstamp. Okay, Bitstamp 1 hour chart of Bitcoin. What's going on? All right. Yeah, look at that. So we were just talking about a little bit of day trading stuff, right, Bravo? And we're like, look, see this trend break? I mean, we had a classified, a classic, or a confirmed short on. I guess I have to add it again. I don't know what's going on here. I was working with layouts and stuff too. But so we were looking at this, and this is let me change. I got to change my settings real quick. But yeah, it was kind of a fake out breakdown, right? Because that was I'll do 9. Take the MA off. Hey, Mojo's here. Good to see you, man. RSI MA off. Change this to a little bit thicker. And inputs. Change my top and bottom. Go 65, 35. Sometimes I do 60, 40. Okay. Yeah, we were just looking at this. So the last candle, we broke this trend, and it was, the body was down here, right? And I was like, dude, that's a short signal because you had a signal, but it reversed. And we were talking about like, how do you manage the trade? We were getting into like all these, like the things that I'm working on, on trade management and defining rules. I'm like, okay, if I'm entering this break, that's a short. My stop is here. So this trade got stopped out, right? So, hey, that's okay. You get those in your distribution, in your series of trade mindset. Well, let's fly around the world real quick, man. So Bitcoin is popping a little bit, 30 minutes ahead of the FOMC data, and we'll see if that moves anything. I know everybody, man, I've been, scanning, especially a little bit more on Twitter, just to kind of get more Twitter active, especially with Jedioshi. But yeah, everybody's like talking about this FOMC thing is the most important thing ever. So we'll see if they come out, dovish. So if they come out, so here's the thing, right? Previously, they've said that they're going to, or they expect to raise rates, and I think it was up to 5 times or something in some period of time later this year. And so that's what it, it gave the market a little bit of pause and some jitters, and so that's what that's why people say that we were selling off and everything. But put some pressure on the markets, with interest rates rising from where 0 right now. The cost of money is higher, so it'll put pressure on things, and hence pressure on the markets. If they come out today and say we're going to stay the course, that's one thing. But I'm not sure what's being priced in. But if people are pricing in maybe a walk back of that, maybe they say we're not going to raise rates for as quickly as we had thought, or something, for whatever inflation metrics, or however they want to say whatever their desired outcome is. But so basically, if they come out with anything less than, if anything kind of more dovish is how they call it. Like dovish is more like hands off, hawkish is like aggressive to like tightening, right? So if they come out and say, hey, we're not gonna raise rates as fast, then I think you'll see a pop in all markets. And so we'll see what happens. But I think on the macro, and I posted this yesterday, that's real strength. Where is my, oh, is it my DAO? This is the overlay. Right, I posted this yesterday. And so this is the fractal from the Great Depression, the Roaring 20s Great Depression. I think this is 1928, 29, I think. But yeah, it also had a consolidation chop at the top. And it also had this dip before the final rip. And so that's my, if you were to say, what's your read on the market? Where are we? What's going to happen? If I'm asked to look at my crystal ball and make a prediction, I'd say my prediction is the Fed comes out and says, we're not going to raise rates as fast as we had said before. Everybody's like, okay, get in. We're all risk on. Everything's, and then we fall, we do something like this and we get our blow off. Like I've been saying it forever now that I still expect a blow off. Is it going to happen though? I mean, no one knows, but that's, we follow this blow off. And so I think on the macro, what this would look like, dude, is we have equities are blowing off, and then you go over to say, let's get Bitcoin on the daily, and then this fractal plays out, right? It would also pop this fractal up. And let's chart that because there's two different ideas. This is interesting because I even posted that. I'm like, guys, if we follow this fractal in the Telegram, if we follow this fractal, this is about where we turned around and we do a double dip, right? And let's look at that. Like all these corrections, and we've covered this a lot, but all of these corrections are not V bottoms. Or I'm sorry, none of these corrections are V bottoms. I mean, you have like if there's a V in there, but after this is a sustained downtrend correction. So I'm just expecting, I lean on the past more so than I lean on something different that hasn't happened before. Does that make sense? Okay, so you just see it, right? The summer, we had bottom, up. I'm sure at this point it was like we're going up only, right? That was the sentiment. Well, we put a V bottom in, or I'm sorry, another bottom, double bottom. Here, same thing, bounce up, another bounce, then up. Where was the other one I was looking at? There were two in September. It was this one, I think, and this one isn't the best, but it's bounce up, and then you just have a wick down here, and then up. So, what would I expect? I would expect us to repeat a past pattern more so than something brand new. So then I come over here and I'm like, I would expect one last drop, if we follow. But I'll take up only two, man. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's up, we're up only. But I mean, the other thing, man, that I think about is everybody and the mother's calling for 30K. So like everybody, right? So everybody's calling for 30K. So then maybe we don't get it. And we might not. If this 32.9, is that good enough? It's, what was that, 50? I think it was 54% down, right? So, I mean, it's... Yeah. Yeah, 53 to 57. And that was a lot of charts. In their kind of, they're from the top, right? So this is, 52 point something. 52, yeah. I mean, you can kind of check the box and say, like, you're corrected. And then, so, again, everybody and their mother's calling for 30. So the market doesn't give it to you. And, do we get a double bounce? Like, everybody, like, it's kind of obvious, right? You look at the chart and you're like, bounce, another bounce, bounce, another bounce. Okay, like, I'm going to guess bounce, double bounce. And maybe we don't get it. I don't know. Right. Say they started their orders up here or whatever, and then, like, it's like the big accumulators are like, I'll start buying below, say, 35. And then you kind of put a floor in. So, Yeah, but you know, just because we have a nice green candle doesn't mean we still don't turn around, right? So just don't be surprised if we get a double bottom like these patterns have shown in the past. I pointed out that on the fractal, this blue range came up to the low side of kind of the bottom side of this previous blue. And also, and this was in, I think, yesterday's video or maybe day before, just note that this is the first time that this has really kind of separated. And I tried to get a good match. It's pretty good. It's a pretty darn good match. Yeah. So, but see this data? There's a wick below here, but the actual data is higher than the fractal. So the double dip, it could come up as, let's just say it comes to say, you know, like in this range. Right, it's more, I see this more of a range of previous support in this box. And so, yeah, maybe you come up into here and then you go blip and do that. And you still follow, you still honor this sort of drop and then second bounce. Make a higher low, you come out. So that's that. But really, to me, dude, what we need to see, you need to see the trend reverse. Right, so until we break this trend line, and you can go to wick or body, but look at wick. You have a touch here and a touch here, so it is a 3-touch line. But yeah, until we get over this, like, that's why I look at this and I see we could still come up here to the bottom side of whatever and maybe even do one of these and whatever, or up, down, then break, then do a little chatter, and then keep following the fractal. There's another fractal that I'll just draw the resulting ABC. But if you want to talk about like trade plan, idea, what you're watching for, what you're looking for, so this is one idea. So off the bottom in your wherever, you know, you ABC out to your retrace. And the other one, though, is that this A comes up a lot higher and a lot quicker. This is based on the bottom of the bear market in I think it was 2018, maybe 2019, right? So that would look like, and we're going to draw the fib on here because this is what we were setting back and forth last night, I think. But we do the fib work from top here, bottom here. So see, it's so like, yeah. Okay, so let's just map that and say, let's yeah, I agree, because this was a former ceiling, right? Over here. Yeah, I agree. No, yeah. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I need to shift back here, but so what we see, yeah. And hey, let us know if the audio is good, because I have messed around with it. I took the background music off and stuff, so hopefully the audio, the mic sounds good and everything's coming through. But so again, this 0.5, like you're talking about, we have a former level of this former ceiling area, and it's 0.5. So that's what you would call confluence when things line up together, right? So yeah, is it 0.5? Is it 618? You know, either one. But what I'm going to be looking for is, let's just say that we do ABC faster than this fractal. Like, we break the fractal and we start a new pattern. So let's just say we do this. Oh, no audio from Jay Bravo. Sorry, man. I don't know how to fix that. Man, okay. Bravo, do a mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, check. Okay. I had my desktop audio in the mixer muted for, I don't know, whatever reason. Sorry, Bravo, I had you on mute there, dude.
Dude, before we do anything else, look what's going on the chart.
All right, hold on. Okay, selling back off a little bit.
Yeah.
Just kind of pop.
Right back to where it was. This is right back to where it was when we first came on about 30 minutes ago. Yeah.
Wow. Hey guys, let us know if you can hear Bravo now. Sorry about that. I'll do better with my tech. So there's so much to this. It's like
you gotta hire somebody, man.
Audio mixing, video mixing, streaming, whatever. But hey, I think we're getting better every time. That's the goal. Let's check out.
Dude, that is a crazy candle right now.
Let's look at that real quick on. Yeah, right there. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? So watch this. If you're day trading the 1 hour.
Man, you would have gotten a wicked fake out. Man.
Whipsawed both ways.
Wow. Look at that. It's right back where it was. We came on together like 11:30 and it was looking at 11:45. Right, it was looking like that.
Yeah, this broke down and we were like, dude, that's a short signal in the book, right? Like that's a short, and you take it and you put your stop up here. And then it reverses out. You get stopped out and you're like, I guess we're going long. Hopefully you didn't, like whatever.
That's a crazy candle because who's buying that up so much after a signal like that?
Crypto has a way of doing this a lot. And that's why, dude, for day trading stuff.
Look at the RSI now. Dude, look at that. That's crazy.
And see how that candle, like, as this was building this green, the RSI was way up here. Right?
Yeah.
Because the RSI does not resolve or does not complete until the candle's closed. Right? So,
right.
Yeah. So, but they have a way of doing this. Like, a lot of these big wick fake outs. There was, have you ever seen the, Bravo's a bit loud. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to turn them down. Or I'll turn the desktop audio down.
Going from nothing to everything.
Story of my life on this YouTube stuff, man. Okay, do a mic check there, Bravo.
Check.
All right, I think your volume and my volume should be about the same. And hopefully the output volume is good too. So, sorry about that, guys. Thanks for sticking with us through all this, but we'll get there. The worst is when I start trying to do background music, and then I... Well, because you have to record, and then I can watch the file, and then it seems right. But then when I do a full video and then upload it, I'm always like, oh, that background audio is too loud, or whatever. So I'm like, okay, no more background music until you can get the basics, until you can, hit a layup in a free throw. Let's not try any 3-pointers.
That's right.
That's right. So, anyways, interesting. So, have you ever seen? Man, there was a big deal about the Darth Maul. You ever seen the Darth Maul candle? You know what the Darth Maul candle is?
Yeah.
It's where you have, like, this would be the body. I think this is right. Or let's hold on. The Darth Maul is where you get. Let's see if this works. Where you get massive wicks on either side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like his weapon.
Yeah, like his lightsaber has 2 blades, and one green, one red. So that was like a massive Twitter meme for a while. It was like the Darth Maul, because you get these massive drops, and like this is Bitstamp, so it's a legit exchange. But look at this wick, and that's on their exchange. That's real price action. I guess we'd zoom in on the time, but like it gets wicky. So I guess we're just this is just looks like just volatility right into the 130, 10 minutes out now. But into the 130 FOMC minute release. Let's look at let's look at equity markets, see what's going on. Dixie. Okay, let's look at there it is. Let's look at the S&P. And cool, thanks. 30er, thank you. Appreciate the feedback. Got thumbs up, guys. S&P it's at 4409, but look, same thing. And that's the thing, man. You just watch both 5-minute charts. They track. I mean, they move with each other.
Yep.
So there it is. See, same thing. Now we didn't kind of fade, but so you have different movements. Bitcoin was more of a trend up, and then it kind of break, and then fake out. But here you have, this is tough to trade. That's why a lot of people, like the day traders, are just waiting, because this is
on the sideline.
Yeah, like this is a tough trade because you're like, okay, we got a breakout, and again, this is 5 minutes, so it's a little bit noisy, but you got a fake out, and then you just an instant reversal above here, so you just have to work your trade and your stops and then take what you can get, really. But yeah, boom, boom. We're just,
man. Anybody that doesn't think Bitcoin's tied into equities come on.
It's all like tied into the same.
What are we talking about here?
It's all into the same computer. Yeah. I mean, you watch this stuff. Yeah. Like I'm watching it. I'll watch equities, right. And I'm like, S&P's up. Oh, I bet Bitcoin's up, and of course it is. Sure. The correlation. I saw some stuff, some work. There is a correlation indicator, and I'm not sure. I've never really played with it, but
yeah,
since I think it was 2019. Or maybe into 2018, like the correlation range had totally shifted up. And currently, or maybe the last few weeks, the correlation coefficient is close to 1. So, I mean, they're tracking. Like it's not entirely like 1 for 1, but high. It's probably above 95% correlation.
Well, right, dude, honestly, I think we could go back and look at this, but I think that we need a blow off to get an alt season. And I think we even need to blow off to get Bitcoin back to the 702. I think that's what happens, right? To get us there.
I don't
because that's what happened in the past.
Yeah, if equities, my belief, and somebody's gonna have to school me on a different view, but if equities are not moving up, I don't see Bitcoin going anything but sideways at best, right?
At best. Yeah.
I mean, like, if you look at this, and there's some work that we saw from yesterday. Let's look at this real quick because it's interesting. This is May 10th, right? So on this top from May 10th, and then, the Dow did make a new high in here, but it's been basically this chop zone, right?
Yep.
So let's go to Bitcoin, May 10th. And I guess we'll just pick this one. May 10th. May 10th. Where is May 10th? Let me guess. Right here. May 10th. Right there. So
yep.
So what happens when the Dow stalls out? You either do that, or you go sideways. But then, so let's look at this. Now this is getting really messy on the chart. But July 22. Let's look at July 22.
Let's go back to the Dow. That's such an interesting place there too, because that's pinpoint where that 702 came in and hit.
Yeah.
On Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. Like that's such an interesting place.
May 10th, the Dow had an all-time high. Bitcoin tapped at 702 and then went on its big correction for the summer. Yep. That date was July 22, right? Let's go back to July 22. July 22 is right. No, this is when Bitcoin sprung out of the summer lows. Right here. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. So Bitcoin, I don't want to take this fractal off because it took a lot of work to get it on there. I guess I could open a new chart, but whatever.
Just move it down. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Down and I move it up. But so July 20.
Story of our life, man.
You're right. Move it down. Okay, I move it. It's classic, dude. Right here. So Bitcoin, look at this. You have to agree that Dow pretty much went sideways with some whatever at the top. Bitcoin ran. This is when Bitcoin bottomed and ran to 69K, dude. That's what the Dow did. Mm-hmm. So when I always say things like the Dow can't just go sideways and Bitcoin run up. Well, it did. From July 22, it ran. Look.
True. That's interesting. But it also had 2 new all-time highs. Right?
Yeah, it did. In that big range. There was money was pouring into markets. And right. I call this sideways, but it all-time high, Bitcoin all-time high. So things were making all-time highs. So, but yeah, if Dow,
it's a big range.
If Dow's doing this, you're not going to see me calling for Bitcoin to go up, right? So
correct.
So let's go back to kind of our premise or whatever we're talking about. If we do get this theory in equities to play out, where we get blow off tops in the Dow, and you see things like NASDAQ come back, and maybe it doesn't do an all-time high in the NASDAQ because it's pretty far off the top. Let's say S&P does, all-time high, Dow goes for another all-time high and it blows off, say Dow 40,000. Then I'd say, okay, and Bitcoin will do a big retrace on its ABC. And so all markets will kind of move back up for a short period of time. But then in this time frame, and this is like my grand plan that I shared in the Telegram. But the grand plan is, you know, if this is the bottom, then, you know, sometime up here, my plan, I'm out of crypto and I'm short equities, right? Yeah. That's the play. Or you can be short crypto too, but man, I want to be making gains in crypto here, and I want to ride this. Yeah, I want to get that, and that would be a heck of a trade for the second half of. If you could ride that, and how I would do it is I wouldn't try to play the 15-minute chart or the 1 hour chart. I would take some core positions short on a breakdown of the chart, right? So on a core breakdown on my signals, say on the daily, I'd say, okay, once we break this down, I'm going to take a signal. I'll put core positions short, and then I'll just sit and wait, right? I'm not going to be like, take profit here, and then, right, and miss the whole darn thing. That move for me will not be a day trade. That will be a core trade on a speculation that we get a real hard sell off. So that's my plan anyways. And we'll see how it plays out. But that's what got me so excited last night, man. Was like, if this all plays out like this, you know, if we get ABC back up in crypto, and I think that ABC is, in my book, it's tradable. I mean, if you get, let's just say we do get 0.5, right? Let's say we finally break the fractal, and we follow this ABC versus that, even this one, whatever. We can just keep following this fractal. Yeah, let's take that off. If let's just say we spring, and equities, everything's blowing up, whatever. We get a 0.5, alts are running hard. Finally, Bitcoin dominance breaks down. We get some runners, you know, even Litecoin's running, right? Stuff like that. Like, boom. For me, my plan of attack is, you know, get out here on a chart breakdown. We break that chart, show weakness, out, wait for it to show strength, and then actually this time wait until it's finished, and obviously watch the chart. Let's just say I drew this correctly, which there's, you know, like no one knows, but that's Valentine's Day, Feb 14th, and that's Feb 25. So that's only 11 days. Dude, that's not a lot, but I still think it's tradable. Let's look at so that's 11 days. It's not a heck of a lot of time. You're gonna have to be watching obviously we watch it all the time. That's 20% drop.
Neat.
So if Bitcoin drops 20%, I think alts would drop a minimum 40%. I'm just gonna say that. My guess.
That seems pretty typical.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're gonna see probably if we do get to the 0.5, you're gonna see some alts that have probably gone 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just look at your list right now, there's multiple altcoins right now that are 20% up or more. Yeah. I mean, this is what you'd expect to see off the bottom.
Exactly.
For sure.
You're going to start see some crazy firings. Even T Fuel was up, I think, at 45% at one point today.
But yeah, it was a rocket.
Just crazy, just bounces, right? So you'll see those bounces, and then I think for me, I'm capturing that. And then if we can get a 40% on average, 40% drop, coupled with a Bitcoin drop of 20%, that's tradable, and that's a great time to trade this B2C leg that you're expecting to have, right? But make entries on strength, and then you ride the C back to wherever it goes, 618 or 702. You could really compound some gains here, is my thinking, and then get out and go short equities. And
yeah, boy, and I think
that would make a heck of a year, man. That's why I'm so excited,
dude. It would,
because it would.
I
be
think the C leg
awesome
would be
year.
longer too, man. I don't think the C leg is going to come in quick.
Oh, you mean like one of these guys? Like maybe.
I think it's dude. You know what I've been doing the last 2 months? Yeah, is studying this thing, and these ABCs that come out of here are not. Right. You might get a quick leg, but like they typically move slow, man.
And this is an exaggerated chart. I mean, this is a daily, so it's. I mean. Like I just was like, that's 11 days. Wow. But 11 days. And then you ride a slow grinder, right? And maybe that's till middle April, or maybe it tops with say, we're calling equities topping in May. Maybe it's like that. But either way, man, you know, like time is the hardest thing to get right on a, you know, speculation or prediction. But
Right.
these levels don't lie. And so at like, if I said this is um, Valentine's Day, but if it's, you know, like that, whatever, it's still a good, still could be a good setup, right? For something like that. Like if we, because we
Absolutely.
get this, we'll still get, you know, you'll still get price movement. It just won't be as quick. So, um, that's my game plan, anyways. That's how to trade this. Is, you know, come out here, play. I'm gonna play the ABC game, and look at a 0.5, look for breakdown, expect a reversal off this old ceiling level, expect a reversal, look for it, see it, get out, let it cool off, see if it drops 20%, get back in. So let's do some
Oh,
math.
I think it's a great.
I
It's
know,
a great
like
game plan.
it's deadly when we do math, especially when we do start
Yeah.
doing like X math. Like let's not do X math, but let's just do like regular math. Let's just say like let's do a comparison. Hold or trade. Okay. This is why, and this is all on the fly stuff, guys, so I hope I get this right. But let's just say at A, you have a value of 100, whatever that means to you. Okay? We'll just, so at A. So you get back to A and your value is 100. Now, if, whoops, already messed up. This is going to be, no, this is going to be the hold. Okay. So then you go to B and you drop 20%. Let's say alts drop 40%. So you go down to 60. Okay. And then you get to C and you come up, and we're going to make another, like there's a lot of speculation in here because we're projecting like what alts do. So that's 34%. Let's say alts do 3 times that. I'll give it that. It might be high, but whatever. Let's just say we do get like an alt season and alts really spring, whatever. Okay, so 3 times that is 3 times that is 100. So then your 60 goes to what, 120, right? So basically, like, there's risk, obviously, right? But if just a hold to C, like if I were like, okay, what are you gonna do? Just watch it all the way to C. Like at A, if you're at 100, you're at C at 120, and you sat in that, and then it had to come back. Okay, now let's do the trade math. And we're not doing the old dangerous X, like 5X and 10X on top of that.
Pivot math today, man.
Pivot math? We're not doing pivot math. I'll never doing pivot
Nope.
math again.
Nope.
It's so dangerous. Nope. When you get those ideas in your head, and then it clouds your your execution ability, right?
Yeah, it does.
So let's say you're at 100, and we're not going to factor in fees or any of that. I realize that's part of the equation here, but to keep it simple, we're just going to say, okay, at A, you have 100. Now, if you trade that, let's say you sideline. Let's just say, for this example, this portfolio gets all the way out. Okay, sell everything. And then at B, you buy. Well, what do you have at B? You have 100, right? You took your 100 and you bought. Okay, now, and how much is it? It doubles. Okay, right? Doubles. So the math's easy. So the opportunity is, let's just say this is accurate, whatever. The opportunity is to go from this level and a double from there, or this level and a 20% gain. So that gain, like you can call, like do this math, like this gain from A to C was 20%. And this gain from A to C was 100%. So it's 5x. So the trade idea, if you want to take the risk, whatever. And granted, you're probably not going to be like time on the top. You know, there's going to be some slippage in here where you're going to be waiting for breakdowns and waiting for strength, and so you're not going to probably nail tops and bottoms exactly. But let's just call it for what it is. The max, the way we've done the math, the max and this delta, the range this is a 5x better play than that. So for me, when I look at risk reward, that's why I land on, I don't like mentally go through math exactly like this, but you can see that, I'm willing to try and go for something closer to this. something closer to these kind of ratchets up versus just a hold. But that's me, and we all have to make up our mind, right? So
yeah, dude, I've seen like I know of a particular structure. I know it's on the Boeing chart where it does a retrace back to the 0.5 in the same area that we're in right now. It does a very nice ABC, and the B leg is really short. Like it's really not tradable. It might be like it's just it covers the course of like 4 or 5 days, but it's not big. You know what I mean? It's not like a 20 or 30% drop. It's or even more. It's much shorter. And like the correction it looks more like exactly. It looks more like a straight line. It tags the 0.5 and then it just then it's done.
That's
that's
the thing.
The only retrace.
Because
there is no 702 or anything like that.
Let's just say let's kind of talk through this, because let's just say that you do get out here, but then the market does one of these, right? And you're like, oh man, I missed it, and then it finally falls, right? So there's all that stuff going on. When you get out and you're like,
you could look at it real quick. You want to look at it real quick?
Yeah, let's look at it. I was just looking at the S&P.
It's 2001. It's 2001 Boeing, okay. And I love this chart because the structure is just so dang similar to what we're looking at. And I know we go this direction a lot, but like I think it's telling just to show everybody like what an actual retrace with this structure could look like.
Okay.
2001. I've got it on the weekly. All right. But if you put it on the daily, you get a little bit more clarity with the retrace.
All right. Let's try to do daily. 2001, right?
Yeah.
Way back here, 9/11 time frame. Probably.
Yeah.
All right. Let's check it out. This guy, right?
Yeah. Stretch that sucker out.
Okay.
Is it 2001? I can't tell.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
So this guy?
Is not
this guy, right?
No. This guy.
No.
The next one over. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I had 9/11, like 9/11 gap right there. Yeah, September 11th.
Yeah, that chart was breaking down though, obviously, right?
Yeah, like it was breaking down into it. But yeah, like
if you put a fib on that, like that's just a touch back to the 0.5, and then it's done.
Let's just fib it from here.
Yeah, it'll be a little different from there.
Okay, yeah, if I take it from
if you take it from the actual all-time high, like
I'm with you though. Like basically like this is a slow grind.
That's right. That's all I'm trying to point out.
So if you're like I don't know. Yeah.
I would call that peak. Yeah, like right after the 236 there, like that peak's probably the the A, then B, then C. But that's it. Then it's gone. Then it's done. I mean, I think that has to be like it needs to be considered that's a possibility.
Yep. So if that's our bottom, well, like if I scale out, it doesn't look so slow, but it is. But what you can do is I did it on one of the videos this week, was there's some time analysis on the death cross. And it put a topping area, I think it was May 1. I really do think it was May 1. If you just look at if you look at the same, I may have it on here, but
yeah.
No, I can't. Dude, now I can't erase all this text without blowing up my bars.
Yeah, right.
Unless, watch this, I'm going to try to copy. Watch this, copy, erase, paste. Haha, I got it. I tricked it. I'll have to redo it. But anyways, yeah, so that's what we're watching. That was interesting. Bitcoin running up there on that level and then being sold off. Let's look at back to the S&P. Let's just look at Dow Jones. See what it's doing here on the news. It doesn't appear to be a violent reaction, right? So it's 140 right now. And FOMC stuff came out at right here on this candle. So I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like massive red or massive green. So, and it doesn't, like there does need to be some time to process, but pretty flat, but maybe it has time to give it time to kind of bake in,
Yeah. And alts look good right now, man. They look, it's like, it's really encouraging to see a bounce like this come off the bottom-ish.
It is. It is. You're starting to see some alts, and again, we've said this 1,000 times, but yeah, the fractal says that, you know, the pattern is a double bottom, but doesn't mean it has to be, right?
Yeah.
So I don't, you know, like, nobody knows, but you know, the two things I just keep going back to over and over and over, is break this trend, you know, end this downtrend, right? And then look for a retrace. You know, at some point, right? At some point,
Yep.
we, you know, is it ABC? A is quick high, is a quick pump, and then a bleed, or what does it look like? You know, like, you can draw it however you want, but at these levels, I think these key levels of, say, 50K, right in here, 50K might be a key level be looking at, and then maybe you do get a, you know, a drop, and then like you said, maybe that slow grinding. We did some angle work, right? And it was more like 45 degrees, I think, right? Wasn't it like a lot? I have my angle tool. Well, this is like a 30-degree line. 45s.
Yeah, I mean, you see that 45, you see it. It happens. I don't, you know, it's just so hard to predict that.
Yeah, I mean, like, no one called that bounce. You know what I mean? I remember after summertime, we were surprised to the upside on this, and then it was like, oh boy, that was it, right? Like, look, back here, when we had no chart past here, it was like, well, I think it's game over, guys, because there's your top, there's your lower low, and next stop is down here. You know, high, low, lower high, lower low, and then we're gonna go bear market. That's what everybody. So no, like, sentiment was all convinced that for sure we were going down. And then look at that. That's a really high angle. I'm gonna have to do my trick again. But cool. What else? Let's look at I think I have the rel strength chart. Let's look at that real quick. This is 15 minutes. So we have, now let's do a 5-minute. Check this out. Yeah, look at that chop. It's interesting. T-Fuel, we've obviously been watching that today. It was up like 45%, I think. That was a huge pump. See if it's done overlaying things. Okay, what's up here? Hold on, let me blast this so I can get... Or see if I can just do this. Matic, okay, Matic, LRC, Algo kind of in the lead, but not really separated. And, you know, but look at that. I mean, obviously this is only a chart of a couple hours now, so it's not super telling.
Yep.
But alts are leading, as you can see, right, in the percentages. Not that surprising. So it's nice to see that.
Heck yeah.
You know, that's what you want to see, you know, hope for a bounce out of the bottom. So let's see. Anybody else? Somebody in the... Let's see if I can... Oops. Somebody... Let me pull something up real quick. Posted something in the... Would you say for Bitcoin, the 1-hour chart is showing RSI divergence? Price has been trending up, yet RSI is more of a sideways action when then compared. Yeah. We talked a little bit about that, but let's kind of focus on that real quick. Kind of what we talked about at the beginning. So that was what was interesting. So you have, that's why when right before we started, Bravo and I were looking at this and I'm like, dude, that's a short, because you have price up, but then I was looking at, yes, the top of this RSI channel is down. So yes, that to me is, it just signals that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is a top and we're going to zero or whatever, but it just means that this move up is on less strength. So, or the relative strength is lower. So it's not as strong of a move up. So for me, what I saw was not this top line on RSI, but the underside. I was looking at more kind of lower time frame. When I saw, I think it was that break or that candle or whatever, when we broke the bottom out on RSI, for me, I was like, that's a short signal. because you are under a period of lower RSI. So I know it's not as strong. And then once you pierce the bottom and you broke the bottom on RSI, that for me presented a short setup or short signal. But what happened was, I hope that answers your question. But what happened was, and this is interesting, was, let's go to the 5 minute on this. But yeah, see what happened was,
Oh yeah.
boom, took your stop out because your stop was here. My virtual theoretical stop was here. And then look at this chop. Look at this chop. This is really not tradable. Although, I mean, you could say, look, we broke this level now, and I think we're gonna, you could take I mean, like, you could argue, well, it's not the cleanest setup in the world, but you could argue, even on the 5 minute here, you could argue that, look, we broke this support line. Now I'm mid-range. The better setups are coming in from the top side or the bottom side if you're trying to trade a trend. So you just want to look for like good and clear setups. But
yeah,
breaking the bottom of this, the bottom of this range, coupled with breaking an RSI, I could see why that might be maybe more like a tier 2 trade. Like where you're like, yeah, it's tradable, but maybe not with the highest level of conviction. So I might,
and a smaller amount of capital too, probably.
Yeah, I might, like smaller trade, and then if it's in your tier 2, and then you have like if you have rules for tier 2, it might be you can take a tier 2, but these are the rules I have for tier 2. Or like, how do you even know like tier 1, tier 2? That's like when you build a system and you build a signal and everything, then you say like, my signal is this. Like, I'm long. Like a signal to me would be more like this, where you have and this is a little bit choppy. I've always said the 5 minutes is very choppy, but when you have like this, see how you broke this down and you broke price. Now a lot of charts will be higher movement, but this is a decent setup. It's not too bad. Broke price, broke RSI, short right here, and then you got to work your trade management. So is your stop above the level here, so that if it comes back on you and you're out because that trade broke down, right? So you're the whole reason and the whole basis for your trade was invalidated because you broke back up on a higher high. So it's not a breakdown, it's not a trend down. So you're trying to play a trend. So but if you break that and you break that together, that's confirmation on price right here. And then in your rule system, you have to decide, do you wait for a candle body close? Do you wait for a candle close, or do you go? So that's all part of your rule system too. And then if you take that, what I like to think that I'll do is, I'm in the trade and you work your stop, whatever your rule system is. If it goes like this stop from this entry would be like, that would be 1R, right? So that's one risk, whatever your risk is, at 2% back, whatever. So that's 1R. And then if you get like, say you get out to 1R and some candle body or whatever, there's a bar by bar strategy, there's a pivot strategy, a couple different strategies for trade management. But say you go up like above 1R, then maybe move your stop to 0. So then you can't lose on the trade. And then do you let it trend until, this is the idea, you let it trend until the RSI gives you the other signal. So see that? It comes back into this range from the bottom, but that also may be necessary to be coupled with a break in price. So just because you had, and part of your the rule system in the trade management is, how do you manage the trade when you're in it, and how do you get out of it, and what are the rules? So, like if you were to say, my rule is I have to come break this trend line and get an RSI signal, well then that happened for you right here, and we probably didn't pop until this green candle. Say if I break this trend now, then I'm out. So that's all part of the things that I work on the side, right? With the system and trade management. This is probably one of the most important points. It's probably 25% of this whole thing. Maybe 25% is your trade signal or your entry. Like that's maybe 25% of it, right? So the other 75% is position size. And you could have one for tier 1, one for tier 2, and then the other big part is your trade management. How do you, you apply your stops? How do you work them down? And I'm working through a few different things, but the most, I guess I would say, the most important thing for me is I'm trying to kind of optimize the system to where I don't have to make decisions or use my emotions or use what I feel or believe or think, because that is where the trouble happens. When you start thinking you know what's going to happen next, even when you're in a trade, you're in a profitable trade, you're in a winning trade, and then you start thinking, okay, this is going to go up, this is going to come against me, whatever, and then you take action. So I want to, like, trading for me is like I'm gonna build rules all through the entire process. So not just signals and setups and entries, right? So it's going to be, yes, rules on entries, rules on signals, and then rules within the trade, all the trade management rules, and then run that through a period of trades, and then say 20 or more, and then study the distribution, your bell curve, your average, your standard deviation, your stats, and see how that's working, and then rinse, wash, repeat, and dial in. So that's,
I think, like we talked about earlier, I think you run it through all the different markets too. Like, and then you would have this like robust data set.
Mm-hmm. And you can run it for, it's really on any
like
chart.
Your system's going to
works on like any chart.
But like you were saying earlier, it's like crypto behaves quite a bit differently.
Yeah,
than other
that's
markets.
why, like, you get all these wicks, especially on some of these like the leveraged exchanges. Like, you get these massive wicks, and you can apply your stops and have your rules, and you just get wicked out all the time, and you're like, that's what makes people decide, I'm not going to use stops, I'll use a mental stop, and then they just get wrecked. It's just a path to get wrecked.
It's not great.
It's like, because I promise you, the minute that you start deviating from your rules, right? Like, if your rule system is like, I take a trade, but I immediately apply my stop every time, and if I get stopped out, it just goes in the L column. Like, it's one of my next 20 that, because I'll win, I think I'll win 12 or 14 of the 20, based on my past data, or my past data. I should expect to win 12 to 14 times and have winners. But then, people decide to, whenever you decide to violate your rules, you go against your rules. I'm not going to run a stop. I'm going to let this one run out, see what happens. And then it goes against you. That's when you have catastrophic loss. So when you have that one trade that really comes in and just totally wrecks your equity curve, right?
Yep.
So
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So let's see what else. Bitcoin dominance still at 42. We haven't looked at this. Well, we know what it looks like, right? But what's interesting is when Bitcoin was kind of falling, the dominance would rise, and this is the daily. But I'm kind of zooming out. You see how wiki it gets on daily. That's why I do 4 hour. But see if it loads. Yeah, just trying to see if this whole story prints, right? Like, if equities blow off, Bitcoin gets a retrace, alts pump, we get alt season, dominance breaks down, it all ties together in one big idea, right? Of kind of how this might play out. So what else, man?
Yeah, and I think it's just playing out slower than it has in the past, and that, I think that's what's frustrating. But I think that's also part of the way it has to work. I think this market has to have a percentage of people that are in right now sell all of their assets at the bottom, and then they'll just come back around and get in when it's rocking again. I just think that's how it always works.
That's how it always works,
right?
I told you that a friend of mine on Twitter in the DM was like, I just sold all my crypto. I just sold all my crypto, and I'm like, at the bottom? Like, you didn't want to sell it at 69K, or like? But people don't. Like, if you don't have any muscle there, if you don't have any skill of trading or charts or markets, that's just what everybody does, because it's painful, right? Yep. Like, I can't lose I can't lose anymore, so I have to stop the bleeding. And so that's
right.
That's just when people, like I've said it a million times, but this last few percent, wherever that is down here, and if it's whatever down here to 30 or whatever, this is when most people give up, because they bought Bitcoin at 60K, and it's 30 and they've already lost 50%, and they can't lose another 50%. And guess what? This at the same time, and I posted this in the Telegram, you have these moon boys, right? I posted one of them. These guys at 69K were calling for 100K. Easy. We're going to 100K. We're going to 100K. The same time, they're calling for 100K at 69K. Now, here at 33, and this 32.9, whatever it is, they were calling for 20. Like, if you don't think it can't go to 20K, then whatever. And you're like, it's the same thing, right? Like, it's emotions based, and it's not logic or reason or chart based. And so,
well, just look how many sellers there were at 36, 35, 34, 33. A lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of people. And then there's going to be a lot of buyers at 50, 51, 52. Like, that's just how it works.
We get back above 50, I promise you. Like, look at this, right?
Dude.
We get back, like, above that. We retrace and see we do that. And I'm not sure times
buy.
Like, everybody be like, we broke 50, the next step is 100. And just wait. It's going to happen. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
We just broke 50, next top's 100. This is why Bitcoin's going to 250. Plan B is back on. Stock to flow, right? Like, all that stuff.
And the pros, like the real pros out there, just like, I'm going to sell you all my Bitcoin right now at 52,000.
There you go.
And then I'm going on vacation.
That's a signal for me, exactly. Like, that's a signal for me. That's an exit for me. Thank you. Like, pros sell tops, right? That's who's selling at the tops are pros. And they buy bottoms, and that's just what they do. And because they don't trade with emotion, but people do. And of
course, we've all done it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's the path. That's the path to
how you learn, man.
That's
how you learn.
That's the path. Unfortunately, you have to learn what not to do.
Yeah.
You have to learn by losing. You learn to win by losing, and it's true. And everybody says it, and you're like, well, I'm not going to do that. But we all do. And you just like, basically you get so wrecked and frustrated or whatever. You're like, okay, fine. Like, fine, what do I need to do? And then if you're willing to do whatever it takes, you're willing to learn, and you're willing to stick to rules. That's why people like the pro traders, they just stick to their rules because they know if they deviate, that's the path to getting, like, no, that's losing. Like, if you start breaking your rules and you start taking trades because you feel something or you think something, then that's playing a losing game. So, you have to get to a point, you have to lose enough to where you're like, crap, like, I was trying to find sentiment on Twitter and everybody's saying 20, so I sold. And you're like, well, and then you get past that and you say, okay, well, let me try to read a chart. And you start building muscle. And you build muscle and you build muscle, and then that's the path, man. Right? That's the path that we're on. We're, like, you always just get better. Like, that's the game. That's why you go to the gym every single day. Is to get stronger and build more muscle or whatever. And it's a daily thing. I'm still working, like I just told you about, trade management. My number one thing right now is like, what's the optimal way to manage a trade given certain things, and how do I build that rule system so that when I'm in a trade, I don't have to think, because I start thinking.
Dude.
Every time I do, I'm like, every time I start thinking, like, I think I know this is going to turn around right here. It's like, no, I want rules to tell me what to do. My own rules.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing, is that I don't like rules in general. But I like the rules that I make for myself better than the rules that somebody give me. Does that make sense?
Dude, it's not, I mean, you're an engineer, so it's like every system and every machine has a set of rules. So it's like, I won't, like, it's hard to apply emotion to rules that make the system better, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, so it's like, yeah, I don't want rules. I don't want, I get that, but it's like, this is part of the system that makes it more efficient, right?
Right. And so, like, when I live into that, then I'm like, well, if you're like taking an engineering test, right? And I walk into the test and I'm like, well, I don't know what they'll be like. Okay, blocks up at here. So let's slide on this curve, down this ramp into a friction zone, and then it hits a spring with a spring constant of this. Now figure out how much the spring compresses, and given all these things. I'm like, well, how do you solve that, right? You solve that because you know, like, kinematic equations of energy. Like, energy would be like potential energy to kinetic energy into spring energy, and at these points, I know these things. That's just like trading. You're like, this is how this system kind of works. And like, the system works if you work with your predefined rules, and then you apply those, and you can solve problems. And the other interesting part, we don't have to get it too far into it, but once you can operate that way and become consistently profitable, you'll realize that you have access to unlimited upside potential. Right? And then what happens is you'll realize that what's holding you back is not on the outside, it's on the inside. Right? So if you have like, and this is a whole, chapters and chapters and books and stuff, but it's, do you believe that you're worth it? Because if you don't, if you have self-sabotaging beliefs and opinions, then you'll do things even unconsciously that will like make you not achieve what's possible. Right. So just interesting stuff, but
this is totally true. I mean, we could really go down that rabbit hole, but
it's true in sports too, right, man? Like, that's what you were so familiar with for so long in like sports coaching.
True in everything.
College athletes and people trying to go pro.
Think about it like this, man. Think about it like this. If you're a college golfer and your stroke average is 75, and you go to your coach and you tell him like, hey, look, my one of my goals this semester is I want to average 73. That's great, right? But what if this person is capable of averaging much better than that? But now he's got it stuck in his mind that this is who he is. This is the number that I shoot. This is my golf identity. All right, that's fine, but you're limiting your potential. And maybe it's ego. Maybe he doesn't have enough self-confidence. Who knows why he won't allow himself to like. And I'm not a number. I'm not like a let's declare an average that you want to get to guy anyway. I'm more of a let's implement your system and see how good you can get. Like, never mind the number, right? Let's just see how good you can get by preparing and building your machine for the golf course. Like, it's exactly the same thing that we're talking about here. Like, how efficient are you at doing what you do? That is going to dictate your score way more than any other number that you want to achieve. It's so ridiculous that, like, to just pick a number out in the sky, but that's human nature.
Yeah, it is.
That's your ego. That's exactly that's what everybody does. And as a coach, I would try to beat that out of guys mentally, of course, not physically, but that's not, that's a really bad way. Like, you go talk to Tiger and he's like, I want to average 69 this year. It's like, you're not factoring in weather. You're not factoring in, anything. Like, you're just saying a number, but you could be playing really great golf in the wind and the rain and shooting 76. Like, how does that work with your scoring average? Now you've failed to achieve, but maybe you've won the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, it's just it's a ridiculous premise to begin with. Sorry, that was a rant.
No, it's good. It's like kind of basic rules for life, like anything.
Yeah.
It takes it's discipline, right? So much discipline to how disciplined can you be to your rules and your systems and your process, and then just grind it, like.
Dude, the discipline is like, let's build a system, and then like, let's figure out how it works. But then, like, we talked about this yesterday, then it's like, okay, I've got this beautiful system, but am I going to hold myself accountable to it every single day?
Right.
And that is like, that's the real, that's when potential just like goes, that's your potential just like goes through the roof. Whatever you're doing, your earning potential, your golf potential, whatever it is, like, you build a beautiful system and then you hold yourself accountable to it every single day. Then you're like, man, I never knew I could do this. But it's really not even, it's just stacking one gain on top of another, on top of another, on top, like over and over. It's like building it's just like building a machine that creates this product that everybody wants. And you just like churn out product, bang, bang, bang. And the next thing you know, you're just like a billionaire. That's how people become billionaires.
Yeah, it's true. We were talking about the, the scraper and rounders that everybody laughed at all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, the guy that just takes the small wins, like every time he just takes a small win, and you just scrape and scrape and scrape and scrape, and it's just, one set of 20 trades after another, and you find yourself there.
Right.
Different than the whole trade by trade, and we don't have to talk too much about it. I'm putting all this together in a package, right? So I can help, like try to teach this idea, this mindset, this kind of like the way of thinking, the Ayoshi system, if you will. It's you have to stop thinking like this trade's a winner, this trade's gonna win. Like you have your system and you execute it. So yeah, it's good stuff, man. On the we have a sell off here, 5-minute chart. Selling off, we're down. Dow is down 600 points from the mid range. So yeah, looks like some FOMC stuff. Kind of maybe it's baking its way into the market. So
Yep.
or you know how this works. Like maybe it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. Like I know prices move on conviction of people, but taking action. But maybe the explanation for this will be that the Fed wasn't dovish enough. I don't know, but don't forget, we're doing our, we go back to our fractal, and we were saying right here, look, this is about where where you'd see it turn around. So just not surprised one bit, right, to see this thing just go bloop, bloop,
yep,
and then finally get our retracement. So we'll see, just a little bit longer. I think again, I've been saying this for a few days now, but we're a lot closer to the end of this thing, I think, than the beginning. Of course, I said I think, but this seems like to me the probabilities are we're closer to the end of this big correction than the beginning. So we'll keep trudging along.
Yep. What we've been doing, man.
That's what we've been doing. Let's see. Flat. Okay, OMG's at 430. What else? SHIB's 2200-ish. XLM is 20 cents. XRP 63 cents. Let's see what else. What's ADA doing? Is it like $1 or something?
Up a little bit.
$1. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at CRV at 297. Man, CRV dropped to like 260, I think.
Wow.
240. On the bottom of the wick. Look at that, man. From
Wow.
7. Big
Wow.
old ABC. Yeah. This guy is hammered. I mean, because it was raw strength. It was raw strength doing really well, right? As we know, we're watching it, and all that. So that's down. I think, just need to get a retrace, man. And these things can move. Well, I think that might wrap up our live stream, man. We'll just keep watching it. I mean, Dow. Let's just go back to the Dow one last time. Maybe not that. Maybe let's look at S&P. I mean, I'll just keep watching this throughout the day, but I don't know if we need to keep the stream going. There it is. Look at S&P on the 1 hour.
Yep.
Up and then cool.
Yeah, there's been. I mean, I'm looking through alts and stuff here. There was last couple hours have been relatively volatile. Really, I mean, there's some pretty big wicks, and I'm interested to dive in to see what was going on. But
interesting, we wicked up here prior to the. Remember, it was just choppy.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, it's like not tradable until you can see a trend starting or whatever. So a lot of people probably took the short on the breakdown past here. Looking at like S&P, looking at like a 4,400 level, break 4,400, people are gonna take it short. So we'll see what happens, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, cool.
Yet.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that kind of concludes it. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, please. Follow me on Twitter. It's at Jedioshi, and send a DM, and we can get you in the Telegram community of people working to read charts, think like traders, become traders, and be successful in any market. That's the goal. That's what we're doing. So thanks again. Thanks, Bravo, for being part of it, man.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, we'll see you all next time.
See ya.